NATO is strengthening their military troops in their eastern blockade. As tensions escalate regarding the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the international community is on high alert. In particular, the recent increase in military drills and satellite images showing a significant buildup of Russian military equipment and troops in Belarus has raised concerns about the potential for conflict and violence in the region. We'll be taking a closer look at this situation and providing an analysis of the implications it may have for the future. So buckle up and stay tuned. The sound of tanks rumbling through the streets and the smell of gunpowder fills the air in Russia and Belarus as their military drills intensify. The exercises have been extended for an unspecified period of time and involve a large number of troops and military equipment, including tanks and artillery. These drills are not just any ordinary exercises. They are a display of strength and military prowess by the Russian and Belarusian forces. The increase in military activity has raised concerns that this may be a prelude to a new offensive in Ukraine or other neighboring countries. As the drills continue to escalate, tensions between Russia and its neighboring countries are reaching a boiling point. Satellite images have revealed a significant buildup of Russian military equipment and troops in Belarus, raising its concerns about the intentions of Russia. The images show an increase in the number of tanks, artillery, and other military vehicles in the region, as well as the construction of new military bases. The buildup of forces has sparked fears that Russia may be planning a new offensive in the region, potentially leading to a wider conflict. These drills are not just any ordinary acts. The situation is being closely monitored by neighboring countries and the international community, with man calling for de-escalation of tensions. The Russian and Belarusian governments have not commented on the satellite images or the military buildup, adding to the uncertainty and concerns surrounding the situation. USA and other Western countries have expressed their concern, with the U.S. Department of Defense stating that it is closely monitoring the situation. This latest development comes amidst ongoing tensions between Russia and its neighbors, particularly Ukraine. The buildup of forces in Belarus only serves to escalate an already volatile situation. As the world watches and waits, the potential for conflict and violence looms large. The fate of the region and the safety and security of millions of people are at stake. Many experts believe that the military drills in Russia and Belarus are more than just routine exercises. They are a message to the world that Russia is a force to be reckoned with. Some suggest that these drills may be a part of a larger strategy to intimidate neighboring countries and assert their dominance. Regardless of the underlying intentions, the increase in military activity is a worrying sign for NATO. Tensions between Russia and its neighbors have been mounting, with the extension of joint military drills with Belarus adding fuel to fire. The move has sparked fears that Russia may be planning another push into Ukraine, which has been the center of conflict between those two countries. With fighting in eastern Ukraine and the annexation of Crimea in 2014, tensions had been high between them for some time. The extension of the military drills only exacerbates an already volatile situation. The reaction from Ukraine has been swift and strong, with President Volodymyr Zelensky calling for the drills to be halted, stating that they are a direct threat to his country's security. USA has also expressed their concern, with the State Department issuing a statement calling for Russia to refrain from any aggressive actions. This latest development raises the stakes in an already high-stakes situation, with the fate of Ukraine and the wider region hanging in the balance. Only time will tell how the latest development will be, but one thing is certain: the stakes have never been higher and the fate of millions of people hangs in the balance. With the conflict escalating quickly between Russia and Ukraine, NATO has increased its presence in Eastern Europe in response to the growing tensions with Russia. This has included the deployment of additional troops and military hardware to the region. As part of this effort, NATO has established a number of enhanced forward presence battle groups in the region. These battle groups are made up of multinational forces and are designed to provide a visible and credible deterrent to any potential aggressors. They are stationed in Poland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, and are led by the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Germany, respectively. In addition to the battle groups, NATO has also increased the number of military exercises it conducts in the region. These exercises involve troops from NATO member states as well as partner countries and are designed to improve interoperability and readiness in case of escalating conflicts. NATO has a wide range of military capabilities, including guns, tanks, warplanes, warships, and other advanced weapon systems. These capabilities are designed to deter potential aggressors and defend NATO's territory, as well as to support international peace and security. Within the blockade, NATO is using its military capabilities to control and restrict access to particular areas. For example, they are using warships to block access to a port, while their fighter jets are used to enforce a no-fly zone. Ground forces are securing the perimeter and prevent any unauthorized access. Russia sees NATO's actions as a threat to its national security and has accused the alliance of aggressive behavior. In response, Russia has increased its own military presence in the region, conducted its own military exercise, and deployed advanced missile systems. It is also worth noting that Russia has a history of feeling threatened by foreign powers and has frequently used military force to protect what it sees as its sphere of influence. For example, Russia's annexation of Crimea from Ukraine in 2014 was largely driven by its desire to maintain access to the Black Sea and to prevent Ukraine from moving closer to the West. Tensions have been running high in the Eastern Bloc as NATO did increase its military presence in the region. The Eastern Bloc has become a potential flashpoint for conflict between Russia and the West, with both sides engaging in military posturing and rhetoric. The situation has been further complicated by the presence of other countries in the region, such as Belarus and Moldova, which have close ties to Russia. Ultimately, the situation in the Eastern Bloc is complex and multifaceted, with no easy solution. It is important for all sides to engage in dialogue and diplomacy to reduce tensions. Though, it's unlikely because of the aggression coming from NATO with the Eastern Bloc, and Russia has earlier expressed their opinions on the aggressive actions coming from NATO. Whether Putin himself fears a potential NATO blockade is difficult to say. However, it is clear that Russia views NATO's increased military presence as a threat and is taking steps to counter it. As tensions between Russia and Ukraine continue to mount, one of the key points of contention is Russia's claim that NATO promised not to expand to the east. This claim has been made by Russian President Vladimir Putin and other Russian officials, and it forms a central part of Russia's justification for its action in Ukraine. However, the truth is more complicated than this simple claim suggests. In the aftermath of the Cold War, there were indeed discussions between NATO and Russia about the future of Europe's security architecture. In particular, there were talks about the possibility of expanding NATO to include some of the countries that had been part of the Soviet bloc, including Poland, the Czech Republic, and Hungary. At the time, Russia did express concern about this possibility, arguing that it would be seen as a direct threat to Russia's security. But there was no explicit promise made by NATO not to expand to the east. Instead, NATO officials simply assured that any future expansion of the alliance would be done in a way that took Russia's concerns into account. Recently, NATO did indeed expand to include many countries in the former Soviet bloc. This expansion was done gradually and with the involvement of Russia, which was invited to participate in NATO's Partnership for Peace program and other initiatives. Despite this, Russia has continued to claim that NATO's expansion is a violation of the promises made to it in the 90s. This claim is not supported by the facts, but it has become the central part of Russia's narrative about its relationship with the West and its invasion of Ukraine. As we go forward, I'd like to ask you a few questions. What do the implications of Russia's claim about NATO's expansion? And do you think one of the reasons for Russia's invasion in Ukraine is because of NATO's expansion to more countries? The history of Ukraine and Russia is one that is fraught with tension and conflict. In recent years, this tension has been particularly pronounced as Russia has sought to assert its dominance over its neighboring country. One of the key points of contention in this ongoing invasion is Russia's claim that NATO promised not to expand. But as we've seen, the reality of the situation is far more complex than this simple claim suggests. The claim from Russia is not supported by the facts, but it has indeed become a central part of Russia's narrative towards the West and the invasion of Ukraine. As said earlier, the conflict in Ukraine is driven by a complex mix of factors, including historical tensions between Russia and Ukraine, Ukraine's desire for closer ties with the West, and Russia's strategic interests in the region. While Russia's claim about NATO's expansion may be a convenient rhetorical tool, it does not accurately reflect the historical reality of the situation. In conclusion, the increased military drills in Russia and Belarus, along with the satellite images showing a significant buildup of Russian military equipment and troops in Belarus have raised concerns about the potential for further conflictions and violence in the region. As the international community watches and waits, the tension between Russia and its neighboring countries continues to escalate. NATO's recent expansion into more countries, including the former countries of the Soviet bloc, has added fuel to the fire, and it's indeed unclear what the future holds. One thing is certain, the world is on edge, and the slightest spark could ignite a dangerous and deadly conflagration. Let's hope that cooler heads will prevail, and that the situations will be resolved peacefully going further. Thank you for watching the video, and make sure to subscribe for more exciting content regarding the Russia-Ukraine conflict.